Okay, today we are going to talk about equation of a line. In general, you know that the equation of a line can be written into two forms. One is called standard form, which is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, and c are real numbers. So the standard form is a is a real number, b is real, and c is real, and it's ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. This is one way of showing a line. And the other one that you remember from grade 9 is called slope Y-intercept form. The slope Y-intercept form is written as y is equal to mx plus b. So y is equal to mx plus b, as I have here. Now, m is called the slope, and b is called the y-intercept. If you remember from grade 9, slope is rise over run. Okay? So the number beside x is always the slope, if I give it to you in slope y-intercept. But if I give you the equation in standard form, you have to isolate y, and then the number which is beside x is called the slope, which you did on Friday, the worksheet. Okay? Now, rise over run is one definition for slope. There is another definition for slope based on 2 points given on the line. Okay? And the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Again, y2 and y1, x2 and x1 are the x and y coordinates of 2 points. Let's say there are 2 points on a line. Let's say the line is AB. The point on this one, let's say, is x1, y1. Let's say point B is x2, y2. Then the slope of the line AB is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you have to be given 2 points on the line. Now, there are cases that you will see just the graph of a line. There is no points given. Then on the line, on the graph, you have to pick 2 points, find the coordinates, and use this formula to find the slope of the line. Now, the next parameter in the equation is b, which is called the y-intercept. If you remember again, y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So again, if I have a graph like this one and it crosses the y-axis, this point, which crosses the y-axis, is called the y-intercept, which is b. What do you call this point? No, this point. You call it x-intercept. This is y-intercept, okay? Which is b in the formula. Now, the third case that you may see is when you get a line, as I said, when you get a line and you're supposed to find the slope. You can see that in this line, 2 points are picked, any 2 points you want, it doesn't matter. On this line, on this graph, there are 2 points, 1 and 2, and 4 and 3 are picked, and you can see the coordinate of this point is 4 on the x-axis and 3 on the y-axis, so it's 4 and 3. And for this one, there is 1 on the x and there is 2 on the y, so it's 1 and 2. Then I can use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to find the slope of this line. Now, y2 minus y1, which is the rise, you can see is 3 minus 2, which is going to be 1. And the run, which is along the x-axis, is x2, which is 4 minus 1, which is this guy, which is 3. So the slope of this line is rise over run, which is 1 over 3. Okay, the first problem, find the slope of this line. As I said, this equation is in slope y-intercept form because y is already isolated. Now, look at the number which is coefficient of x. And as you can see, the number which is coefficient of x is -5/2. So I'm going to say the slope is -5/2. Now, this slope can be written as 5/-2 or -5/2. So it doesn't matter which way you say it. Now, looking at this one, what is the y-intercept? Yes. What is y-intercept? -5, because the number which is separated from x is called the y-intercept. So b is -5. Okay, so in this example, I have to find the slope y-intercept. The number, which is the coefficient of x, which is -4 here, is the slope. So I say slope is -4. And the number, which is without any variable attached to it, is called the y-intercept. Remember that you have to also take the sign of the number. So you say b is -1. And that is the y-intercept. Now, what is the y-intercept? As I said, is the point that the line crosses the y-axis, which is this point. So this is your b, -1 here. To find the slope and y-intercept here, I have to have this equation in y-intercept form. To have it in y-intercept, I have to have y isolated, meaning that y has to be on the left and everything else on the right. Now, to have everything on the right, do I have to move x? Yes. Do I have to move 2y? No, because I want y to be on the left. Do I have to move -8 to the right, to the left? No, because I want -8 on the right. So I'm going to have 2y is equal to -8, and what does x becomes? -x. Excellent. Now, am I done? No. So what do I have to do? I have to divide by 2. So I'm going to divide every term by 2. Now, what is 2/2? Is 1. So it crosses out. So I get y is equal to. Now, to make it easy, remember the y-intercept form was mx plus b. So let's write the x term first. Doesn't matter, but let's write it first. So what is -x/2? Is -x/2. I'm not going to simplify it. So I'm going to write -x/2, or you can say -0.5x. And then I'm going to write -8/2. What is -8/2? -4. Now, looking at this equation, what is the slope now?
I wrote -0.5.
Excellent. So you can see that the coefficient of x is -1/2. If I have 1 here, so it's -1/2. So I say m is -1/2, or you can say -0.5. Now, what is the y-intercept? -4, because it's a number with no variable attached to it. So I say b is -4. That's it. Okay, for this case, y equal -1. To write it as in a slope y-intercept form, I'm going to write this guy as 0 times x minus 1. Does it make any difference here? No. Because 0 times x is 0, minus 1 is -1. But now, if you look at this guy, what is m now? What is the slope here? No, slope, not y-intercept. The number that multiplies by x? 0. So the slope is 0, and what is the y-intercept? -1. Oh, I'm sorry. -1. Yeah, you're right. Now, later on in the practice problems, you will see how to plot these lines. For instance, y equal -1. How do you plot it? You will see. It's very simple. It's not hard. These type of lines are a little bit hard to imagine. But look at x equal to 5. Okay? What is the definition of slope? What is the definition of slope? One definition is rise over right. Okay? Rise is what? Along what? Along y or x? Y. Run is along x or y? X. Now, let's imagine this guy. This line, x equal to 5. Okay? Am I going to have any rise here? You don't? I mean, if y is 10, does it change x equal to 5? If y is 20, does it change anything about x equal to 5? So your rise can be anything, right? Now, let's look at the run. Is your run along the x-axis changes? Is x changing at all?
Yes.
Is x changing? What is the value of x here that you see? 5. What is the value, let's say, now, if I ask you, what is x?
5.
Is x changing? So x is always the same. So what is run?
0.
0, right? What is number divided by 0?
0.
Use your calculator. What is 5 divided by 0? Let's say. What do you get? No. Matter, undefined. So the slope here is what? Undefined. So m is undefined here. Okay? Now, you will see when we start plotting this in a few minutes, you will see that this graph, this line looks like this. This is x equal to 5. Here is 5. This guy is going to be parallel to y-axis. Now, looking at this line, what is the y-intercept? There is no y-intercept. Okay? So the slope is undefined, and there is no y-intercept. Now, let me just explain what exactly slope means. You guys have, I'm sure you have. So here, we decided to keep the y variable on the left. Now, am I going to move -5 to the right? Yes, because I want to keep only y on the left. So -5 goes to the right. Am I going to move -6x? Yes, because I just want to have y on the left. So this guy goes to the right. And and 2y, do I want to move it to the left? Yes, because I want to have y on the left. So moving 2y to the left becomes -2y because the sign changes. -6x becomes what? Positive 6x, excellent. And -5 becomes +5. Remember, it doesn't matter if I write it as 6x plus 5 or 5 plus 6x. They give you the same thing. And the reason I wrote it as 6x plus 5 because I want to have the form of y equal mx plus b. Now, what is the problem now? What do you do now to isolate y? Excellent. By -2, excellent. To find y, I'm going to divide by -2 every term. Now, -2 over -2 gives you 1, so I get y is equal to 6 divided by -2 gives me -3. And this one, either you can simplify 5 over -2 as -2.5, or just leave it as -5 over 2. It's up to you. So I just leave it as -5 over 2. Now, looking at this one, what is the slope now? -3, excellent. So the slope is -3, and the y-intercept b is equal to -5 over 2. Excellent job. And that was it. That's all you have to do. Okay, I'm going to decide, just to make you, to pick different points, I'm going to pick this point as to be 0.2, and this one to be 0.1. I'm sure that you picked the first one as 0.1. I just want to show you that you can pick any one of these points and you get the same answer. So I'm going to write m is equal to y2. y2 means the y coordinate of the second point. I pick this one as second point. So the y2 is negative 16 minus y1. y1 is the y coordinate of the first point, which is negative 15. So it's going to be minus 15. Remember, it's minus the y coordinate of the first point, negative 15, divided by x2. Remember, this is point 2. So x2 is 19 minus x1. x1 is negative 7 now. So I say negative 7. Now, what is minus minus? Positive. So what is negative 16 plus 15? Negative 1. Excellent. Divided by. What is negative negative again? Positive. What is 19 plus 7? 26. So you say that the slope here is negative 1 over 26. And we are not going to go and find, the Y-intercept. It's a little bit more involved. Okay, again, you pick any point as point 2 and the other one as point 1. So this time I'm going to pick this one as point 1 and this one as point 2. Now, by definition, m is equal to y2. Again, y2 is the y coordinate of the second point, which is 3, minus y1, which is the y coordinate of the first point, which is 3, over x2, which is the x coordinate of the second point, which is 20, minus the x coordinate of the first point, which is 19. 3 minus 3 gives you 0. 20 minus 19 gives you 1, and 0 divided by 1 gives you 0. This means that the slope of this line is 0. Now, if the slope is 0, then is the line vertical or horizontal? Is the line vertical or horizontal? Horizontal. Remember, when slope is 0, the lowest one, then it means that the line is horizontal. There is no slope. Okay? When the slope is infinite or undefined, then the line is vertical. Always remember the building jumping. That's infinite slope here. Okay, again, the same type of problems. I have 2 points and I have to find the slope between the points. I'm going to pick, let's say, this time this is point 2, this is point 1. And I'm going to use the formula. So I'm going to say m is y2 minus y1. You can see that y2 is 0. The y coordinate of the second point is 0. Minus y1. The y coordinate of the first point is negative 15. So it's going to be negative 15. Divided by x2. x2 is 3. Minus x1. x1 is negative 11. Now, 0 minus 15 is going to give me 15. And 3 minus 11 is going to give me 3 plus 11, which is going to give me 14. So the answer is 15 over 14. Okay, this one. There are 2 points again. This time I'm going to pick this point 1, this one point 2. So I'm going to go ahead and write the formula. The formula says that m is y2. y2 is 8 minus y1. The y coordinate of the first point is negative 13, so it's negative 13, divided by x2. x2 is 17, minus the x coordinate of the first point, which is 17. So I get 8 plus 13, minus minus is plus, so it's 21 over 0, if you use your calculator, you get an error, okay? This means that the slope is undefined. And this means that the line, if you plot it, is going to be perpendicular to x-axis. Now, even without doing that, what is the definition of slope? We said rise over run. If you look at this guy, run is the changes in x. You can see that from this point to this point, does x changes? From 17 to 17, does it change? No. So this means run is 0. If run is 0, rise over 0 is going to give you undefined. So automatically, even without using the formula, you can say that this one has undefined slope. Okay, now we have the graph of a line, and you're supposed to find the slope of this line. The graph has already given us 2 points. Let's call them A for here and B for here. Then I know the coordinate of A is 0, 0 because it's the origin. And coordinate of B is going to be 2 and 1 because you have 2 units on the x and 1 unit on the y. So it's 2 and 1. Now, the problem is like before, pick one as 0.1, the other one 0.2, and then use the formula. So I pick this one as 0.1 and this one as 0.2, and then I use the formula. So I say m is equal to y2. This means that the y coordinate of 0.2, which is 1, minus y1, which is 0, divided by x2, the x coordinate of 0.2, which is 2, minus x1, which is 0. Now, 1 minus 0 is 1, 2 minus 0 is 2, so the slope here is 1 over 2. Now, the question is, if I ask you what is the y-intercept here, what do you think is the y-intercept here? Sorry? No. We said the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. This is the y-axis. This is the point. So what is the y value of this point? 0. So you say the y-intercept is 0. Okay, in this case, the same as before, the points are already chosen for us. So let's label them. I will call this point to be A, this point to be B. Then I can write the coordinate of A is negative 4 and 1. And coordinates of B are negative 2 and negative 1. Now I'm going to use the formula y2 minus y1. Let's pick this point to be 1, this point to be 2. Then y2 is negative 1, the y coordinate of the second point, negative 1, minus y1. y1 is 1, so it's minus 1, divided by x2 is negative 2, minus x1, which is negative 4. Now, negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus minus is plus. So negative 2 plus 4 is going to give you 2. And negative 2 divided by 2 gives you negative 1. So the slope of this line is negative 1. Now, can somebody look at the graph and tell me what is the y-intercept here? Yes, sir. Excellent. No, it's not negative 4. Negative 3. It's where the line crosses the y-axis. And you can see that the line crosses at negative 3. So I can write B is negative 3. Now, if I ask you, write the equation of the line, remember, y is equal mx plus b. Now, what is m here? We found m. What is m? Negative 1. So I'm going to replace m with negative 1, so negative 1x. And what is b? Negative 3. So I write negative 3. So I say the equation of the line is negative 1x minus 3. Y equal negative 1x minus 3. That's it. So in this example, again, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. The points have already been picked for me. I'm going to label the first point, say here A, and the next one B. Then the coordinate of point A, as you can see from the graph, is going to be 2 and -1. And point B is going to be 3 and -1. Now, by definition, M is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's pick this one to be 0.1 and this one 0.2. Then y2 is -1, the y coordinate of the second point, and y1 is the y coordinate of the first point, so it's minus 1, divided by x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is 2, minus 1, minus 1 is minus 1 plus 1, which is going to give you 0 over 3 minus 2 is 1, so you get 0. And as I said before, the horizontal line, the slope is 0. And that's why you got 0. Now, what is the y-intercept? What is the y-intercept here? No. The y-intercept is here. This is y-intercept, where it crosses y-axis. So what is the y-intercept? -1. Okay? So you say the y-intercept is -1. Where the line crosses the y-axis is -1. Now, if I ask you to write the equation of the line, you write y equal mx plus b. What is m here? 0. So it's going to be 0x plus b. b is -1. So the answer is y equal -1, because 0x is 0. Okay, for this example, again, I pick 2 points, which is already marked, A and B. I can see from the graph that A has the coordinates 0 and -2, and B has the coordinates 0 and -4. Now I use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's pick this one as 0.1, this one as 0.2. So y2 is the y coordinate of the second point, which is -4, minus y1, which is -2, divided by x2, which is 0, minus x1, which is 0. So this gives you -4 plus 2, which is -2 divided by 0, which is undefined. So we know that the slope is undefined. What is the y-intercept here? What is the y-intercept? There is no y-intercept here. Okay? Now, what is the equation of the line now? You can see that the line here, okay, the y value is changing, but the x value is what? What is the x value along this line? It's always 0. It doesn't matter what the y value is, it's always 0. Look at the points A and B. X is 0, x is 0, y changes. So the equation of the line is x is equal to 0. That's it. That's the equation of the line. Because x is always 0. It doesn't matter what y is.